Coming up on BCN Today. The fall session of the legislature begins today with a discussion on a bill that has huge impact on Alberta farmers. Plus, Lethbridge City Council gives the green light to a new city housing strategy. But what does this mean to you? And several arrests in eastern Canada following climate change demonstrations.
Your Canada. Your southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. The fall sitting of the legislature begins today, and Alberta will be introducing 17 bills. Government House Leader Jason Nixon says one of them would create new rules for farm safety, and another will be on reducing large-scale greenhouse gas emissions. The sitting will be dominated by the release of the provincial budget on October 24th. Premier Jason Kenney said there will be restraints by his government as it works to end a run of a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit within the next 4 years. Lethbridge candidates tackled some of the hot-button issues last night at the All Candidates Forum, sponsored by the Lethbridge Chamber of Commerce at the Yates Theatre. We'll have those details this evening at 5 p.m. on BCN. There is also another All Candidates Forum taking place in Coaldale this evening at the Coaldale Community Centre, and that begins at 7 p.m. Lethbridge City Council gave the green light on a new affordable housing strategy. The city's social development manager, Martin Thompson, proposed 51 recommended actions. The proposal was based on 4 questions. Who is in need? What are the needs? How can we prioritize? And how they can be aligned with the provincial and national housing strategies. Thompson says the biggest barrier to the city will face is people who do not want supportive housing in their backyard.
One of the key action items is creating an education and awareness plan, right? To educate the community, to educate housing folks, to neighborhoods, so that they know what, the different levels of supportive housing is. And typically, the number one way to change people's attitude towards something is education. They need to understand. We need to be transparent. We need to work with them so that they know and understand what we're proposing. And then how do we mitigate together? How do we mitigate the problem?
Build Lethbridge wants to take part in the city's recycling program by having stations of their own. Builders want to be able to separate construction waste such as drywall, cardboard, and wood from curbside recycling. The group says that this will be a cost-effective way for Lethbridge to be even more eco-friendly.
This was the best in all fronts. It's more cost-effective, the environmental outcome is better, and it makes the neighborhoods look even better. Yeah. I'm anticipating it being a great success, and I wouldn't be surprised to see like-minded programs along other associations across the province. An effort of the association and all of its members to come together to find a solution to dealing with the amount of construction and demolition waste that we have, and being able to capture the recyclable components so it's not going into our landfill.
City officials brought forth a resolution to make organ and tissue donation an option-out decision and not an opting-in decision. The proposal was denied, and Mayor Chris Spearman says that he was disappointed.
We felt it firsthand in the city of Lethbridge with Logan Boulay and the Boulay family, and we thought Logan set a tremendous example. He inspired us to bring forward a resolution like that so that others could do what Logan did. And so it should be by default rather than, we're all very, very fortunate that those of us that are healthy, that we have healthy organs, and I would encourage people to be to really think twice. 15% who have signed organ donation cards. It would be great if everybody would sign their cards until we have a legislation that makes organs more accessible to Albertans.
This is Fire Prevention Week, and Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services is encouraging residents to make a fire escape plan. Fire Prevention Officer Troy Hicks explains why it's so important that everyone plans and practices ways to get out safely.
Not every hero wears a cape. Plan and practice your escape. It just goes to show the importance of people knowing their escape to get out of their home in the event of an emergency. We tell people to always have 2 ways out and to plan it with their family. A fire very rarely happens in the middle of the day when everyone's already outside. So it happens when you're busy, you're doing something. So you need to be able to get out of your home. You need every member of your family to know where to go and what to do in the event of an emergency. Years ago, people had a lot more time to evacuate from their home. Now, with the new materials that are used to make furniture and other items like that, the time is a lot smaller than what it used to be. So we need people to be able to get out of their homes quickly.
To recognize Fire Prevention Week, Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services will also award their annual Fire Chief for a Day to one lucky Lethbridge student. Many people took to the plunge for a great cause. Students, professors, and local dignitaries jumped into icy waters to raise money for the United Way's Community Fund.
It's a great opportunity for students, faculty members, as well as community leaders to come down, take the plunge into the icy water, and raise some money for a wonderful cause. So all the money stays right here in the community, and it's a great opportunity for students to take a break from midterms and finals and assignments that we know are going on right off the bat here, and kind of hang out outside with us and enjoy the weather and kind of enjoy their friends getting a little drenched. Students are doing things on campus that are not just studying or working. They're participating in community events as well as raising funds for charity. So it's a wonderful opportunity that the Management Student Society provides for students to get involved with charity in the community.
I'm here today because we are jumping in this pool to raise money for the United Way here in Lethbridge. It's a really important cause in our community, and I jumped all the way in because I don't like to do things halfway for Lethbridge. I want to do them all the way.
Novello says the goal for this year is to raise $10,000. If you would like to donate, please visit lethbridgeunitedway.ca/chill. 3 members of Extinction Rebellion scaled Montreal's Jacques Cartier Bridge this morning as part of a global climate change protest. Police shut down traffic for about 90 minutes until a specialized team of firefighters climbed up and convinced the trio to come down. Officers arrested 1 woman and 2 men. Police also arrested 18 of the protesters who blocked the McDonald Bridge between Halifax and Dartmouth on Monday. Activists also with the Extinction Rebellion movement blocked roads and staged demonstrations in big cities around the globe, part of a wide-ranging series of protests demanding much more urgent action against climate change. An 18-year-old and a 14-year-old are facing first-degree murder charges after a 14-year-old boy was stabbed as his horrified mother looked on outside of a school in Hamilton, Ontario. Another teen who was arrested last night was later released. Police say the attack was captured on video. They're urging the 2 remaining suspects to get some legal advice and to turn themselves in. Federal party leaders are looking to get some traction from their performances in the English language leaders debate. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau will be the first leader to take their campaign to the far north. He's campaigning for votes in Iqaluit today. Meanwhile, Conservative leader Andrew Scheer and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh are campaigning in and around Toronto, while Green leader Elizabeth May is in Montreal. Andrew Scheer says if he were Prime Minister, he would make all national museums free to the public and would designate the graves of the former Prime Ministers as National Historic Sites. Scheer criticized those who want to ignore important historical figures because of some negative actions. He says political correctness is erasing important Canadian history.
Because despite those who wish to sweep some of these leaders under the rug, they have left their mark not only on our country, but on the entire world, and they are worthy of honor and respect. Now, is it perfect? Of course not. But we must never allow political correctness to erase what made us who we are. We can, and we should, celebrate the giants of our history, like Macdonald, Mackenzie King, and Laurier. If we look back on our history and our leaders and only see the blemishes, we miss out on a beautiful story of a country that has progressed into one of the safest, freest, and most prosperous in the world.
Justin Trudeau is appealing a ruling ordering Ottawa to pay $2 billion in compensation to First Nations children and their families who were separated by child welfare. Trudeau says he agrees with the ruling by the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal, but that his government needs more time to negotiate deals with provinces and territories.
This is a principle that this government has exercised and fulfilled many times in the past, whether it was on the 60s scoop, whether it was on forced relocations or day schools or Inuit TB. We need to compensate those who've been harmed. But the question is how to do that. We need to have conversations with partners. We need conversations with communities, with leaders, to make sure we're getting that compensation right.
Trudeau also sat down to talk to teachers in Ottawa, where they discussed the recent cuts by Ontario Premier Doug Ford. As Doug Ford's government, a move to increase class sizes is expected to lead to 10,000 fewer teachers in the system.
The reality is the cuts that Doug Ford has already brought into education are being felt right across the province. And right now we're in an election where the option is to double down on conservative approaches, which always cuts services, looks for austerity, and gives tax breaks to the wealthiest instead of to everyone else. And we know that investing in communities, investing in kids, investing in the future is the best path forward, and that's certainly what I'm looking forward to discussing with these fellow teachers.
Premier Jason Kenney is back in Alberta for the legislative session, but prior to that, he was in Ontario drumming up support for Scheer. He says Scheer is up to the task of becoming the next Prime Minister.
I'll tell you this, Logan, he will never embarrass us on the world stage or here at home like Justin Trudeau has. Andrew Scheer's been a close personal friend of mine for 20 years, and I just want to go out there and vouch for him as a man of integrity. So I'm not going to get mixed up into politics in different provinces, provincially. I'm just here as the leader of the third largest economy in Canada to say we desperately need a new federal government.
It's been a tight race so far this election campaign. BCN's Naveen Day has been following research polls and says that the rising popularity of NDP leader Jagmeet Singh and Green Party leader Elizabeth May might keep the Trudeau Liberals from achieving a majority government.
The largest national public opinion poll in the 43rd general election shows the Conservatives at a slight advantage. The national poll, which was conducted by Campaign Research, says that 34% of Canadians that participated in the survey intend to vote Conservative, over 32% for the Liberals. The NDP and Green Party are trailing behind at 14 and 11% respectively. In the prairies, the Conservatives have a commanding lead over the Liberals, particularly in Saskatchewan and Alberta. In BC, it's a four-horse race with the Conservatives, Liberals, NDP, and Green Party all sitting between 19 and 30%. The Atlantic provinces and Quebec are where the red shines bright. The Maritimes show 42 over 25 for the Liberals against the Conservatives, 18 for the Green Party, and 10% for the NDP. In Quebec, the Liberals lead the way at 34%, Conservatives at 20%, NDP at 12%, and Green Party at 11%. The battleground is Ontario, where the Conservatives and Liberals are deadlocked at 36% each, while the NDP is at 16%. The only time this deadlock in Ontario was broken was in the immediate aftermath of the brownface blackface incidents, which favored the Conservatives for 2 to 3 days. With 13 days left in the campaign, those numbers can easily shift once again. For Bridge City News, I'm Naveen Day.
Thank you, Naveen, for that. 2 adults and 3 children were found dead inside of a home in Massachusetts Monday. Plymouth District Attorney Timothy Cruz said the victims appear to have died of gunshot wounds.
At approximately 7:30 a.m. today, Abington Police received a 911 call by a family member for a report of a medical emergency at 135 Center Ave in Abington. And upon arrival, the police discovered the body of a 40-year-old woman, apparently deceased. After further investigation, police found the bodies of 4 other people, all of whom were from the same family. 3 children, a twin 9-year-old boy and girl, an 11-year-old girl, and they also found the body of a 43-year-old man. As we speak right now, this remains an active and ongoing investigation. Preliminarily right now, all the deaths appear to be the result of gunshot wounds.
4 people were killed and 5 others were wounded following a weekend shooting at a bar in Kansas City. Police say the shooting stemmed from an earlier dispute.
When we arrived, obviously a lot of people were still inside the bar trying to exit, running out. Inside we located 4 Hispanic males. One of them is late 50s, one is mid-30s, and 2 are in their mid-20s. Inside the bar, deceased. Outside the bar, we had 5 other victims that all sustained gunshot wounds. They were all taken to area hospitals, all in stable condition. I believe some of them have already been released. In the scene right now, or inside the club right now, just collecting evidence. We've done all our scans. We're trying to talk to as many witnesses as we can from the bar.
Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas out there today. We have a snowfall warning in effect, but it could be a different story for the rest of the week. I'll have the details coming up after the break. Welcome back. Here are your weather highlights for Lethbridge. Today and tomorrow, look at that. We got some snow in the forecast. Mix of rain and snow today, actually, with a high of +1, a low of -6 overnight. We're going to be at -2 tomorrow, more flurries in the forecast. 5-day forecast here. Look at all that sunshine coming up for the Thanksgiving Day long weekend. We're going to have highs of +5 tomorrow on Thursday, +11, getting back into the double digits on Friday, +13 on Saturday, 10 on Sunday, and a high of 9 on Thanksgiving Monday. So tons of sunshine for our long weekend. So that is great news. According to the almanac, the high temperature for this time of year, it should be 16 degrees. The average low is 2 degrees. The highest temperature on this day was in 1984. That was 28 degrees, and the lowest temperature was -11 in 1985. The sun rose this morning at 7:41 a.m., and it's going to be setting this evening at 6:57 p.m. Over to the national forecast, looking to the west coast in BC. Looking at Victoria, high of 16 degrees over in Victoria with a chance of showers. Rain also in Vancouver with a mix of sun and cloud, also 14 degrees. Edmonton, that's actually supposed to say 1 degree with flurries. And Calgary, we have a mix of rain and snow with -2 there. Saskatoon, mix of showers and flurries. That's actually supposed to say 5 degrees, not 18. Regina's high of 15 degrees. Mix of sun and cloud there with a chance of showers as well. Winnipeg, lots of sunshine. Tons of sunshine in the east too. Look at this, what a change from before. Toronto, 18-degree highs. 17 degrees in Ottawa, 17 degrees up in Montreal. Tons of sunshine all the way around. So that's great news for them. Over to our friends in the Maritimes. We've got chance of showers in Fredericton, 17 degrees. Showers also in Halifax with a high of 16 degrees. More rain in Charlottetown, 15-degree high, and rain also expected over in St. John's with a high of 16 degrees. So get your umbrellas out. That's your highlights for the weather. Community Calendar is next.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. Come for an amazing time to the McNally Community Association's Tex-Mex Fiesta fundraiser on Saturday, October 19th at the McNally Community Center. The evening begins with dinner at 7 p.m. with entertainment at 8 and a barn dance at 8:30. Music provided by the Great Canadian Barn Dance Band. Plus, a silent auction and raffle draw will be taking place at the event. Tickets are $50 per person and can be purchased at Western Stockman. For more information, visit mcnallycommunity.ca. Do you enjoy helping others in our community? Volunteers are needed in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat to support adults participating in local AHS recreation and leisure programs. AHS is looking for those who will provide guidance and encouragement to people taking part in aquatics, walking to wellness, and expressive arts. To learn more about this opportunity, call 403-388-6311 or apply online at albertahealthservices.ca. Men young and old alike are invited to come join the Lethbridge Christian Men's Choir. Practices are held every Thursday from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at Trinity Reformed Church. The choir practices are in preparation for Christmas and spring concerts, as well as occasional performances at the hospital and seniors' homes. For more information, call 403-328-7985. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.
Well, nobody enjoys it when body parts fall asleep. So we present today's daily life hack for a quick and easy fix. You can instantly wake up any body part that has fallen asleep by shaking your head back and forth. The moment you shake your head, your brain is able to locate which body part is sleeping, and it thus gets it back to working. So the next time you find a body part sleeping, that tingly feeling, don't freak out and simply shake your head. That's your daily life hack. I had no idea that works. So if you see me shaking my head, you'll know why. An atheist group has filed a complaint about a Texas judge following an emotional display of mercy and forgiveness in a courtroom last week. The group, called the Freedom from Religion Foundation, filed a complaint against Judge Tammy Kemp following the 10-year sentencing of former police officer Amber Geiger for fatally shooting her black neighbor. The judge went into her chambers and came back out with her personal Bible. Kemp read John 3:16 to Geiger and then presented her with the Bible. The judge also hugged Geiger before she was taken away for the murder of Botham Jean. The group filed the complaint with the Texas government agency who looks into allegations of judicial misconduct, saying that, quote, delivering Bibles and personally witnessing as a judge is an egregious abuse of power, end quote. More than 4 million Venezuelans have sought refuge in other countries due to the severe economic crisis at home. Thousands cross the border into Colombia every day, and many of those continue on foot into the interior. They walk alone or with their children, and they depend on the kindness of strangers for food and shelter. Youth with a mission in Colombia have set up an aid station along the road from the Venezuelan border. They call it Tent of Hope.
According to immigration statistics in Colombia, an average of 40,000 Venezuelans cross into Colombia every day. Of those 40,000, government sources say that 3,000 do not return to Venezuela. And of those 3,000, approximately 1,000 Venezuelans begin walking further into Colombia. Some of them will settle here, while others will find their way to other South American countries like Ecuador and Peru. They are desperate to leave behind the crisis that has overtaken Venezuela and find decent living conditions and opportunities for their family. Tent of Hope is a ministry of youth with a mission and Operation Blessing to care for Venezuelan migrants to alleviate the hardships of their long hours trekking through Colombia. Jorge Parejo is a missionary with Youth with a Mission in Colombia. He often traveled between the cities of Bucaramanga and Cúcuta and became aware of the situation. That's how the idea for a Tent of Hope was born. What inspired us to do what we're doing? Well, first, the love of Christ. I think that's how new projects and ministries begin. When you see the need and you have the love of Christ, you need to transmit that to the people. It gives hope. It's a place of love in action for the Venezuelans on food. It's like a refuge where they can get spiritual food, which is very important, physical nourishment, and practical help, so that while they are with us, when they pass through our tent, in some way they will feel comforted and encouraged. And I think we are fulfilling the vision that God spoke to us, to be a refuge on their journey, so that they understand that Jesus is with them, that Jesus loves them, that Jesus is the one who gives them strength. That is Tent of Hope. They care for about 200 migrants every day. Their missionaries run out to meet them, welcome them, and offer them food, shoes, medicine, and any other help they need at the moment. Then they invite them to get a massage of their tired, hurting feet while they talk to them about God's love and how valuable they are to Him. We take a lot of time to listen to the walkers. We are very interested in hearing their stories. I have been walking since we left Puerto Cabello for 4 days now. I left Venezuela with my family because of the economic crisis. The problem is that I used to work in the port zone, at the main dock, which is the largest in Venezuela, and now it is totally destroyed. So there isn't as much work that there was before. Actually, that place is desolate now. It looks like a desert. There is no production of any kind, and if there is any production, it's for the government, and no one else gets anything. Tent of Hope opened on October 23, 2018, and is located 45 kilometers from the Venezuelan border on the highway to Cúcuta, Colombia. We would like for them not to come anymore, but we are going to keep doing this while the crisis is going on. As long as the Venezuela crisis continues, the Tent of Hope team is committed to providing a refuge, demonstrating a God of hope to the walking refugees from Venezuela. Marco Oviedo, reporting from Cúcuta, Colombia.
We've been hearing from many of the local federal election candidates as we head into Election Day, October 21st. Coming up, a one-on-one chat with Grant Hepworth, who is the PPC candidate for Lethbridge. That interview is coming up in the second half of our show, so stay with us.